What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick, and I'm here with Acid Rootz, and we're going to be doing a video collaboration, giving our thoughts on the 2016 footage that came out of Diddy beating up Cassie. So this is something that was requested by a viewer of mine. I can't exactly remember their name, but shout out to them. They wanted me to do a video giving my thoughts. I thought, hey, I'll do it and put Acid Rootz on it. It's been a minute since we collabed, and it could be like news, semi-music news, since Diddy is involved with music. So when it comes to what he did, when I saw that, I thought it was wrong for what he did. I thought it was very wrong. He was a piece of shit for doing that, for beating up Cassie like that. That was just straight up abuse, just straight up beating up a woman. It was just completely wrong, honestly. And it just really shows he's just he's a bad guy, for him to do something like that. And he came out with an apology video, and I don't think it's really a sincere apology because it was reported that he paid the hotel place to, keep the video, and he paid Cassie off to not say anything. And it's like he paid her off and paid the hotel people off. So that already doesn't make him sincere with this apology video, but also the fact that he didn't apologize until this all came out to fruition, came to be. And then, you hear all this other stuff about Diddy. Even before this, I've been hearing a lot of things about Diddy: sex parties, trafficking, abuse and allegations of women. Now, granted, some of this stuff, they have to prove in court and stuff like that. But, just seeing what he did to Cassie in the video footage, I just wouldn't put it past some of the other stuff, being confirmed on this guy really just being a bad guy. And, when it comes to Diddy as a music artist, he was never really someone I listened to like that, to be honest. I mean, the only song I ever really liked from him was I'll Be Missing You, the tribute to Biggie, which is a really good song. I mean, I do wonder, like, if Biggie was still alive, what he would think of this and what he would think of what Diddy done. I really, would wonder what he would think of all this if he was still around, since him and Diddy came up together. I do wonder what he would think of this if he was still around. But yeah, I think what Diddy did beating up Cassie, I think it was wrong. Him beating her up, throwing her around in the hotel room, chasing after her. He's a piece of shit for it. It's straight up abuse, and it's wrong. And I don't think his apology is sincere at all. He just seems like a real bad guy with a lot of the stuff he did. And like I said, you take into account everything else that's been, being said about him. And, I even heard he tried to blow up a car to kill Kid Cudi. Like Kid Cudi was in a car, or there was a report of like some car that he was going to blow up that was going to have Kid Cudi in it, because apparently Kid Cudi was with Cassie or something. So there's even a report of that. And if that's true as well, then that's fucked up. Because I'm a huge fan of Kid Cudi's music. So there's even something like that I hear. Then Suge Knight, he gave his 2 cents on it. That little podcast they do with him, where he's talking from his prison, or talking from prison, and Dave Mays interviews him. He gave his opinion on Diddy and said that Diddy's no good and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it overall. He's a piece of shit. And all the other stuff he did to other women and all the other stuff he did, I think he should pay all the money to everyone and anyone he's hurt, and I think he should be put in prison. And that's what I think Diddy should do, and that's what I think should end up happening. Maybe even have him apologize to everyone he's hurt, but this apology wasn't even sincere. Who knows what that one would be? But those are my thoughts on it. He seems like a piece of trash as a person. Really does. So yeah, that's really all I can think of saying in my part of this collab. Now you're going to see Acid Roots and what he has to say about this situation in his video. And yeah, one more thing I do want to mention, a little bit I could say about Diddy's apology. Actually, Diddy in his apology video was trying to say that he hit rock bottom and he was a dark place. And that's why he did that. But it's like, you know, that's pretty extreme of what you did to her, being in rock bottom in a dark place, and you do something like that. And with the way it was done, and with him paying, it's like, did he do this before? Was this the first time he did something like this? So just don't think he had a sincere apology. But anyways, that's it for my part. Peace. Here's Acid Roots with his part.
What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I've got a collaboration video here with JackalGoldKick talking about the 2016 assault footage of Puff Daddy upon Cassie Ventura as far as that particular pitch kind of has with it. So there's definitely some foul stuff here. I would have to say this is a concept I do feel like Puff Daddy was pretty much clearly in the wrong just within this aspect. I'd have to say the concept about it. Originally I kind of thought now, originally, before I watched the footage, I thought it was just couple drama leading to the fact that Puff Daddy had dated Cassie Ventura for about 12 or so years, something like that, between about 2005 to about 2016, 2017 or so. So it's a different pitch as far as that particular kind of went. They were in a serious relationship, pitches like that. I kind of look after it. The kind of particular pitch about it is the fact that Puff Daddy was pretty violent in that particular video. It's just the concept that, pinning her against the wall and throwing like glass vases at her and pitches like that. I'd have to say, I don't know. It just felt really like Puff Daddy was kind of out of character, really doing that. I mean, I know I question what Cassie Ventura particularly did to make him that particularly angry, not the full blown. I mean, I know I could probably play like the complete white horse in this situation, say that Puff Daddy was full blown in the wrong, but I just question if it just escalated for like some sort of couples argument, some pitches like that. But I do think some of the stuff that he did was kind of outrageous and just overall maybe extreme just within the aspect of kind of doing it. I definitely think maybe if he had just pinned her against the wall, something like that, was just kind of the concept of him kicking her when she was down, throwing glass vases at her, stuff like that, pulling her by the hair, some of those type pitches, just kind of the concept of really getting violent and just overall to the extreme, and just the concept that it just felt like the energy that he conveyed towards the amount of solitude that the argument kind of reached was just a little bit fierce as far as the particular pitch kind of went along with it. And that's just kind of thing is what I had to say. But then on top of that, with all these other allegations that kind of went along with that particular aspect, this really deals with the territory kind of saying that so I looked up some information upon this particular footage and stuff, and there's like 6 women that have come forth to say that there's at least 6 women that have come forth with allegations that Puff Daddy has sexually assaulted them and drug trafficking and pitches like that, and some of those type pitches, sexual assault, some of those type pitches in particular, as far as that particular kind of goes, the allegations, just rape and pitches like that, and some of those type things, revenge porn, things like that, just within that relative sense, I'd have to say it's kind of the concept. It's pretty similar to like the Bill Cosby stuff and the R. Kelly type stuff where you look after it. This is pretty similar to stuff that happened with Bill Cosby and R. Kelly pitches like that. I'd say this is another example of cancel culture type stuff, but it's actually warranted, I would have to say, just within the concept. I do believe that the stuff that Puff Daddy did was pretty foul and overall just pretty foul and vicious as far as that particular kind of goes along with it. But it's just kind of the concept that when this sort of stuff kind of gets to happen in pitches like that, as we get to like the charges that are going to be pressed against Puff Daddy and pitches like that, I kind of look after it. I do think a lot of stuff that Puff Daddy did is going to be kind of different here, which is the only real concept about it. I realize what I would almost think that probably could happen is just the concept of Puff Daddy not just having that apology, but going through like some sort of retribution process as far as making it up to Cassie Ventura and the rest of these women. It may seem less likely that he's going to admit to the wrongdoing with a lot of these folks as he's trying to get these cases dismissed, but I kind of look after, I do think there needs to be some sort of retribution, reparation type process to kind of get towards it. It makes me question like the full blown extremity of some of these allegations that kind of happen with it, but the concept about it is if they are full blown true and some of these type pitches kind of happen, a lot of it's just like what happened with Marilyn Manson and R. Kelly and some of those type folks and other, Blood on the Dance Floor and a bunch of other folks that kind of happened with just with the concept. It's just like a lot of this stuff is going to get just wiped from like platforms and pitches like that. So that basically means like no more listening to No Way Out by Puff Daddy, no more listening to like Shake Your Tail Feather by Puff Daddy and Nelly and Murphy Lee and some of those type pitches and other projects. In some cases, I would almost wonder if like Biggie is even a safe territory, considering that he was doing some of that stuff as far back as like '95 and the 2000s. So, I mean, I don't think full blown that Biggie had anything to do with it, but it just questions whether or not there was anything within the involvement of in Biggie's lifetime or something like that. It's just kind of the concept. But yeah, there's a lot of Puff Daddy stuff that just would be kind of vanquished. He was kind of a big deal in the late '90s, 2000s, pitches like that. Albums like Press Play. Press Play is a pretty good album. No Way Out's a pretty good album. So just the concept of vanquishing some of these particular projects is kind of a thing to pay attention to. And I just question what would happen if these allegations get more extreme and that sort of aspect kind of begins to happen. It's kind of the concept. I mean, I would like to think that there could be a reparation process for Puff Daddy. And I definitely think beyond apologies need to be in order for Cassie Ventura and pitches like that and the other women that kind of had the allegations. But I just look after just within the concept that if it doesn't happen, it's just kind of the concept of saying that, that's pretty much the Puff Daddy content's going to be vanquished and stuff, just like so many other folks. But I look after it. Basic concept about it is yeah, this was some pretty fierce and extreme type stuff in a bad way. I would definitely have to say. And it's this kind of concept. I do think a lot of there needs to be some sort of retribution process about change, and I'd have to say definitely to mitigate things in the most wholesome kind of sense.